How's it going, everyone? We are live. My name is Aria Black. How are we all doing? And this is another episode of Let's Talk, episode 3 today. So, really quick, before we get going, let me share my screen with you and tell you a little bit about the adventures of Taylor in outer space. So, this is my new project, landed on Indiegogo. What you can do is you can find the link in the description below. Follow that link, it'll take you to this sign up page. Make sure you sign up today, because when you sign up, you will be receiving exclusive merch by Chubb when you back this book. So really quickly, the Adventures of Taylor in Outer Space Collected Edition is going to be the full collection of every single Taylor mini comic that's ever been created, that's ever been released, plus 2 bonus mini comics. On top of that, you're going to receive a massive bonus section in this book. This bonus section will include a deep dive into the very origin of Taylor, all the way through his development to his current Comicsgate iteration. You're going to see every single picture ever created of Taylor. On top of that, like I mentioned just now, the sign-up perk, you will receive an A3 folded poster and a trading card of artwork by Chubb featuring the Mary Boys. It's the first Taylor Mary Boys crossover artwork out there. And then one final thing, upon full funding of this campaign, we will unlock a very special 7th mini comic. That will be the teaser or the prelude to the first full-size Taylor issue. So remember, link in the description. Go sign up today for that free exclusive merch by Chubb. Right, and without further ado, let me bring on the man of the hour. We got Rob Price. How's it going, dude? So, for those of you who don't speak gobbledygook, that was Welsh. I'm in Wales, and as I learned yesterday, Rob is in Germany.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Okay, first of all, I have to say, okay, boah, dwi eisiau gwybod pam pam mor wyt ti ddim yn siarad Cymraeg? Did you make anything of that?
How was I supposed to make anything of it when you couldn't?
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Next time I'm on, we have to have a conversation in Welsh. All right, like an easy one. Okay.
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 I'll have to practice.
Long chain of events. Taught in Asia for 5.5 years. Thought about moving back to Europe, and then got chatting with some German guys on a TV show in Taiwan. And they were like, go to Germany. You could study whatever you want, etc., etc. And I was like, yeah, okay, because I was thinking about going to university. And I thought I'll come to Germany, do the 3-4 years at university, and go back to Asia. And it's 18 years later, and I'm still here. Damn.
Bloody hell! Yeah, you've been all over the place then.
Little bit. Before we go any further, I just got to say, under legal counsel, there's a couple of things, because I don't know what you've actually what questions you've prepared, right? So
okay,
I'll just say there's a couple of things we shouldn't talk about. Okay, those are any alleged jail time, reasons why I can no longer work at McDonald's, my activities in Nicaragua, my relationship with Judith Chalmers, that photo, and October 31st, 1986. But apart from that, everything else should be okay, yeah? So I'm kind of like, to be here. Sorry.
Nice one, my dude. Right, I'll try my best to stay away from that, but I want to know what happened on October 31st.
I can't tell you. Just can't tell you.
Let's check the chat. We've got good old Bristolian Dave. All right, me babbers. We got Jacob wondering whether you're speaking Welsh or German. So you were this all started when you were on a TV show in Taiwan.
Yeah. Well, Germany did. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of coming back to the UK. See, the thing is, I was teaching in Asia, and I, at that time, hadn't been to university, and I'd done a TESOL certificate to teach English to speakers of other languages, and in Hull back in the day, and it started looking that teachers who weren't uni qualified were not going to be able to get work visas. which is crazy because I've met English teachers who have like degrees, like law degrees, and one guy who had a degree in aerodynamics or aeronauticals or something like that,
Okay.
but nothing in English, and he had no problem getting a work visa to teach English, which is kind of crazy. But then I thought, like I could take the opportunity and do something as well. So I thought I'll do it for fun. So I did Chinese, as you do, and then that's why I went to Germany and took a. I said, yeah, I thought I'd do 3 or 4 years at uni. It took 10 years.
Oh wow, 10 years in university.
Yeah. I was full time, but like I was still like working pretty much almost full time as well. So it kind of dragged out a bit. At
Yeah.
some point, like during that time, I met my Derek at Whittle Flower, and she told
Derek?
me she loves that. She laughs her head off at it. And yeah, she said, "Oh, are you sure you just don't want to like give up?" And I'm like, "Come on, no way!" She's like, "Oh, well, either do it or don't," you know. And then the form I was studying, it was it was like the old German model, and it was
Right.
being replaced by bachelors. And if I'd have like swapped from the old magister to bachelors or masters, then it would have meant me like having to take on another year or something. And I thought, no, let's do it. And I didn't think I was prepared, to be honest, even after like so much time. But still, I managed to fluff my way through.
Oh wow.
So
So outside of comics, you've done quite a bit then, been all over the place.
yeah, don't
That's quite
mention
interesting.
Nicaragua, okay?
Got you. We've got Wally in the chat. How are you doing, my friend? Yeah, I had the total opposite experience of you when I went to university. I couldn't wait to get out. Went for 3 years, and I lived there for the first two. Had nightmare roommates, and then as soon as I could get out of there, straight home. I ended up driving into university every day, which is like a 2-hour drive
Like,
distance there, and then back 2 hours, just so I could avoid living with the bloody roommates.
where did you study?
In Carmarthen School of Art, I did digital illustration. I did it with this guy, Jacob Lewis, in the chat. He was on my
Nice.
course. We
Cool.
he was one of the cool ones, but it was the some of the others on the course that were problems.
I actually spent 10 years in a sorry, I intersperse once in a while with like German when I'm not thinking. So I actually spent 10 years in a student house because the guys were great. The rent was really cheap. I think at the end I was paying 220 euros a month, and that was
Oh yeah.
including everything, which is like for Cologne is like really nothing. And there was always someone around to I think we were about 28 rooms, and it was an all-male student association, a bit of a Catholic Christian youth association,
Oh, all right.
but it didn't stop the beer flowing, Right. So yeah, that was kind of cool. Me not being Catholic and me being like at least one of the guys. We were out on a trip to Dresden once, and one of the younger guys, he's like being a bit cocky. Come on, Rob, how old are you? And I says, I'm so and so years old at that time. And he says, you're old enough to be my dad. And I said, okay, but what's your mum's name? Took him a
How
minute
did you take that one?
as well. Yeah.
Maybe you felt like
I
a bit
love
of a.
these shows. Sorry.
Do you feel like a bit of a fish out of
Love these
water,
shows. You can do some
surrounded by all
afternoon
these
drinking.
Catholics?
Nah, people are people wherever they are.
Oh yeah. What are you drinking today?
This, people will laugh, but it's actually facts. I don't know if you know that one. It's like a Viking beer. It comes in a liter can. I like it because you don't have to keep going back. Hey, I don't know how long we're going to be here for, and I don't have a fridge here, so.
Viking beer for Rob. I like it. I like your style. We've got COVID Kev in the chat. Hail COVID Kev. How are you doing, my friend?
Ave.
One thing about CG is we get good interaction in our live chats.
Yeah,
Right. So speaking of which, how did you get into comic books?
oh, guys, it's one of those things that you start off, you know, your first communication is drawing mummy, daddy, and a house on a piece of paper and a big sun in the middle, in the corner, you know, that kind of thing. But I remember the first day I was at school, like, oh no, before I even went to school, the headmistress interviewed my mum and myself, and I was like 5 years old, and she's like, "Ooh, okay, I'd like you to draw me a house," and she was like over the moon because I drew a house with guttering. Like, I don't think she'd ever seen that before. So yeah, I've always been into drawing, and I could actually, you know, my mum could just basically leave me alone, not in the house alone, but you know, in my room alone for hours and hours, and come back hours later, I'd still be scribbling. You know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn tables. What about you? How is it? Let's do this as a real conversation, eh?
Same thing. I think I was like the kid in school who was always drawing.
Yeah.
And like,
nice.
you know, the artist of the class. And then I knew ever since I was little I was going to be a comic book artist, and I was always drawing superheroes. And then eventually I come to college, and then on the back of them I take maths for some reason. God knows why, because me and numbers don't mix. And I'm sat in this maths exam at the end of the year with a paper in front of me that I can't answer. I flip the paper over, and then on the back of that, I draw the first ever drawing of Taylor, and that's how it all started.
Nice. That is cool. That's cool. But you couldn't take that paper with you, could you?
No, see, in my collection, one of the selling points is I am including every single picture of Taylor ever created.
Right.
Bar one, that very first one. It's in the bin somewhere now.
Well, yeah, because like teachers, don't they? They don't keep that stuff.
Yeah.
What about the art school? Because I went to art school in Grimsby for a year, and you know they weren't too hot on the whole comic idea. And what about you? Were they like? Did you like do serious stuff? I was looking at your stuff the other day when we were talking on the phone, and yeah, damn, that looks really crisp, clean lines, black and white, very, very nice. So I guess you really buckled down and did the serious stuff as well, yeah?
Well, it was like when I went to uni, the teachers were fully aware that I wanted to be a comic book artist because I told them that straight away. But 2 years later, I find myself having done absolutely zero comic book artwork throughout the course. And then we're into the final third year, and I'm thinking, oh, no, I've got 6 months left on this course, and I haven't drawn a single comic book or a single page or anything. And my goal was, like from the start, become a comic book artist. So I was like, I'm wasting my time here. So it was the last 6 months of the course, I knuckled down and said, right, I'm going to create the first Taylor's mini comic, and that's where that came from.
Nice.
So the first Taylor's mini comic was like my final project.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Were you able to submit that as a project?
Yeah, that was it.
Nice.
Six pages there. It took me absolutely ages to get that done.
Really?
6 pages.
Okay. Cool.
Took me 6 months. That's a page a month.
No, wow. A lot of detail.
It's just figuring out the process, wasn't it? Like I said, I hadn't done it before, so.
Did you? I mean, okay. So let's put it this way: you're probably a generation younger than me. Were you using computers a lot, or was it all hand drawn?
Yeah, so I draw everything by hand, and then I color in Photoshop and letter and all that in there.
Okay.
Yeah. So what about yourself? What's your process?
I'm starting to do a lot more digital now. Years ago, I would only do by hand. But do the lettering like on whatever program I had to hand. I worked for a print shop for 2 years, and so I had the full run of the computers there. So at that time, what I was doing is I was like, I knew in my mind, I'd done thumbnails, so I kind of knew the proportions of the page. So I could say, okay, fine. Well, here are the frames. Here's the text. And that all came out first, and I printed that out, and then I drew around it. So that was like the first stuff with like real printed text. And I did that for a number of years. But then, because my handwriting is is not the absolute greatest. You know, I shouldn't be a letterer. And then, yeah, since starting a game, let's see, because it's kind of crazy, and I do regret it, of course. But over the years, I didn't do very much when it came to comic book drawing at all. I'm just gonna pull up a couple of things. Maybe you'd like to share. I'll send them you the links.
Yeah, sure.
But so concentrate on the conversation, right? I did basically bugger all in the the last or the previous say 15 years or something,
All right.
and only within the last since finishing uni. In fact, I think since finishing uni, I've had the time and the desire to actually do more. You know.
Oh, that's good.
So I can't find what I was looking for, but it's okay. It's not so bad. Yeah, and that's in the last 6 years, 5 or 6 years, and I think if I had like gone through the whole 20 years, of course, my skills would have been so much better now. So to a certain extent, I am kind of like I have been starting not from the very beginning again, but like starting from where from a lower level, if you like, than where I should have been. Okay.
Yeah.
But now I'm working with RATL and Roll. Then I use Clip Studio Pro for a lot of this stuff, which is great because it helps you with the layout, and then I can do, for example, the different backgrounds on one level, like hand drawn on one level, and then the what do you call them, the figures on another level, and then use Clip Studio Pro to put everything together, including obviously the bubbles in the speech, everything in the speech bubbles goes straight into this Clip Studio Pro. Since the lockdown, since bringing out number 1, that's when I started hanging out with you guys at CJ UK. Also, the lockdown has meant you can't really go out and do stuff. So I've been doing a whole load of different workshops, and the more workshops I attend, the more ideas I get, and it's kind of holding me back a little bit in the fact that I'm like, damn, there's so much more to learn.
Too much to do, not enough time, is it?
Yeah, but like if I want to make issue 2 better than issue 1, which I absolutely do, then you kind of realize how much you don't know.
I know it. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you're working all digital?
No. I'm definitely working paper and digital. It's going to be a mix. One other thing that I didn't do, the original pages of RATL and Roll were just on normal copy paper, which is like, yeah, for sure. So
were you inking those and everything?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be a nightmare on copy paper.
Yeah, it is actually, because it kind of like crinkles. Oh, I don't have those originals here, but so now I've actually splurged and started, buying the kind of stuff that you should be using. So obviously that's going to give the book a whole lot better look as well.
Yeah. Right. So on your campaign, are you going to be selling the original art?
I haven't. Here's the thing. Comic Mark has been pushing me to go for Indiegogo for a while now, and I know on like about 3 weeks ago, was it? On his show, I started the email list, but I still haven't like progressed with that so much more. But I am starting to get ideas. The first idea, of course, was a zine, and that came from one of the comic book workshops that I've been doing online. So I've put together, and I've shown this on a couple of pages, on a couple of shows before. So I've put together a mini zine that people can download and print out. I still haven't finished that, but people who sign up for the email list will receive one of those. On one side there'll be a poster, and I'm actually thinking that poster might be my first completed page for issue 2, which is this one.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, okay, nice.
We'll check out that.
Nice reaction. I like. Great success.
Cool panel layout.
Cool, thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. But I like I like those angled panels. You wouldn't see it's it's getting rarer and rarer to see some variation in modern comics now.
So some of the stuff I see out there, it's so clean, and it's almost like it's like an anime cartoon, isn't it? It's almost like it's screenshots.
Yeah.
I'm a very messy kind of creator. I mean, you can tell. Like the lines, let me see, the lines I have, they're not as crisp as maybe they should be, and I'm sure there are some purists who'd say, for a comic strip, you've got to have clear, crisp lines, but I also like the there you go. I also like the washes. I don't know if that's in focus. The washes, which of course using a cheaper paper wasn't great, because of course it would bleed a little bit more.
I bet that was a nightmare.
Well, you know what? It was fun.
Yeah?
It was fun. I started this. Let's see. Okay, so I got the idea for RATL ROLL, and I started it in CGDE. What's a CGDE? Ach so. Ja, habe ich verstanden. Noch nicht.
Okay, you two have your conversation. I don't know what's going on.
He's asking,
what did you say there?
CG UK, is there a CGDE? DE for Germany, Deutschland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does this mean, though?
That is good.
Oh.
Mein da. Right. Where I was saying, that I started with it. It would have been. I just had like ideas. Like for Tailless, did you actually have an idea of a story, or was it just a character?
It started out really differently. The drawing was the same. I drew a spandex-clad cat with a camera on and laser gun. But the idea was he was going to be a criminal.
Okay.
And the space police would be after him. And he was also going to be. He's called Tailless. The idea was he would be the only character without a tail because he lost his tail.
Yeah.
But then over the years he changed where like no one else in the story has a tail now. So his name's a bit redundant, but any other name I give him sounds silly to me. So we're stuck with Tailless. So it's changed a bit.
So maybe an idea for a story is he has body modification and he has a tail attached. What are you going to call him then?
Tail reassignment surgery.
Tail reassignment surgery. Tail reboot. Yeah, if you notice, and this is one thing also I brought up in let's slow down a bit. RATL, who is he's a European genetically modified rat. Okay, lands in where's my camera? Lands in New York in at the time of at the time of like great immigration in the 1890s, and he actually stows away. So it's not like he doesn't have the means, mainly because he's trying to pay for drinks in the first bar he goes with. There we go. With counterfeit money.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of cool, because I shared that picture with, hold on, these bills is fakes, and people over here in Germany didn't get the old Chicago patois and like, shouldn't that be, these bills are fakes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I watched the little video you put together on your channel of the start
yeah,
of that book, and it opens with the new Colossus.
yes,
So I wasn't expecting that. That was quite an interesting start to the book. I liked it. It's
cool,
very poetic start,
nice.
and I liked the way you did the visuals in that, where the main focus was tracking the humans leaving the ship, and then you had these small panels tracking the journey of Rattle the mouse. So everyone watching, there's some really interesting methods Rob has used to tell his story. Something I wouldn't have thought of doing, something you don't see generally anywhere else. It's awesome artwork. Very painterly as well. Painterly backgrounds with nice washes on them. And then you'll see the characters you want to focus on pop out because they're more cartoony. It's an interesting style.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for saying that. Excellent. No,
Great.
it's always good to get praise, right?
I tell you what, while we're on the topic of rattle and roll, let me bring up the Indiegogo page.
Ka-ching.
There we go. So everyone, there's a link in the description. Make sure you head over and sign up. What's the perk you're offering for these sign ups?
Sign up. It's going to be the zine, but it will be. I'm sorry, you're going to have to use your own ink and paper. That's the caveat. Once I actually finish this, I'll put balloons and text on it, bit of an explanation, and I'll put the second side. I'll create a PDF with it, and that will go to everybody who's signed up so far.
Awesome.
The campaign I haven't really started. I've done the economics for the campaign. I really ought to speak with you guys about that. Thanks, Neve. I really ought to start talking with you guys about that and see what you say. You know, like you, Mark, Dave, and the other guys, Willie as well, because you guys obviously have so much more experience. The whole thing with issue 1 was I just did it all, and then I put it out on sale through Blurb, through what do you call it, Amazon, and also through Artithmerics. And I got to say, this is the there you go. There. This is the Artithmeric, and this is the one that really has the comic book feel. You know, it's got inside printed covers. The paper's kind of a little bit glossy, you know, and it really brings the illustration out. I like that a lot. The other ones, and this is kind of cool as well, because I wanted to get a bit of good coverage. So they're all, there you go. They're all the same book, but there are 3 different sizes, which is also kind of interesting. The smallest one is Blurb, and Blurb and what do you call it? And Amazon, KDP. KDP is what they call them. They are, you know, there you go. What do you call it? They're trade paperbacks. So they have this thing where, you know, the covers inside are not printed. You got to leave, for whatever reason, like 1 page blank at the back, which is a huge waste of paper. Bezos, but I don't think it's his. And you know, it's good. It's still good. I still like it. But I gotta say, the Artithmeric, the Artithmeric version was just so, you know, everything popped so much more than the trade paperbacks, which is great to see. But because I didn't do this with like any backing, like Indiegogo or anything, basically I just wanted to make sure that it was affordable. I'm a complete unknown, and I don't think people would pay €10, £10, whatever, for a for an unknown book. And that's why, is my camera stopping again? Yes, it is. So if my camera stops, sorry about that. It's a little bit slow. It's my
You seem fine right now.
Say again? Ah,
You
good.
seem
Yes.
fine right now.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah. So basically, I put I basically wanted to have the stuff out there, but I wanted it to be affordable. Because
I see.
I
That's a good
remember
idea.
I remember back in the day where you could get so many comics for £1. It was unreal. Compare that to these days. God, I sound like a grandfather figure. I think.
So we've got Wally here saying he did something similar. He likes the 3 different sizes, something he's thinking of playing with in a future campaign.
Nice.
And then Jacob here, who I assume who has supported your book before,
I
says
haven't paid him for this. I haven't paid him for this.
it's a great first book. Best line is near the start. The poverty and persecution they had fled was there to welcome them with open arms and a sneering grin.
So it's got
I think that is a good line.
That is, yeah, that's not a bad one. I'm kind of happy with that. Thanks, Jake. The check's in the post. So, yeah. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Quite the poetic feeling to this book I'm getting. When you launch your Indiegogo, backers going to get the chance to buy an Indiegogo version of issue 1 as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to find out who's going to print it. Obviously, you got people in the US, people in the UK. Hopefully, people in the UK will want it. Hopefully, people in the US, and hopefully, people in Europe will want to buy it as well. And these days, mailing from the US to Europe, so what I'm going to have to do is look for 3 different printers, and then order those prints in each country, one for the US and Canada, one for the UK, and then one for Europe.
Oh yeah, that might be good.
Well, that will be the better one. But then again, you're not going to get a huge discount because you're creating a smaller number. Yeah. So I'm going to have to work out how I'm actually going to do that. Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, printing is going to be the biggest cost of any campaign, probably. It's something we need to work out. Generally, the UK guys go for Mixum to get their books printed.
Yeah.
Where have you got your other ones? The books you've already done printed?
Well, they were in KDP, which is which is Amazon. Ooh.
Oh, print on demand.
And yeah, exactly. It's all print on demand. Yeah, which also pushes the price up a bit. Although the Amazon one, if the exchange rate is right, I saw it on sale last week for $4.90, and then this week the price has gone up again, which is kind of weird. I don't know how that.
You're not in control of that.
No, not that I know. Well, I mean, yes, I can set my price for KDP, and I wasn't sure if it was a KDP or the Blood version. But the price does seem to be fluctuating a bit.
That doesn't affect your profits, though, does it? From the book?
At this stage, profits are like, I'm not planning to retire tomorrow.
Pay for exposure.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Hey. Awesome. I can't wait. I've signed up. I want to get my print out PDF. I quite like that. I like all the weird little gimmicks and little fun things you get with indie comics. Like when I started Taylor's was all printed out I did it myself. I did the printing. I assembled the books. And it took ages. But it's indie comics. It's quite fun to do something a bit different you can't do when you're running a campaign or if you're in the mainstream,
Did you go to like a print shop, or did you order all the pages separately?
I ordered all my materials, and then I invested in a pretty decent printer a couple of years ago with an A3 scanner on it, and then it's an office printer, so it's meant to handle like hundreds of people using it in a day. So just me on my own, it was like it's nothing for it. It handles it easily. We got what's he say? Shane O'Sullivan, if the book is great in quality, I would not mind paying £10 for an indie. If you have extra stuff to go along with it, posters, etc. You got any thoughts about any extras you can give away with this campaign?
I don't know. I'm still thinking. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say stuff now. There was the idea that I could like one extra could be I could give someone a role in like one of the books. Okay,
Oh yeah.
maybe not in number 2, but then definitely in number 3. Okay, but then again, yeah, maybe because if I'm thinking I need to get issue 2 nearly complete before I run the campaign. The campaigns usually run for 2 months, yeah, and number 1 took me 6 or 7 months. You know, I started around December. I remember Christmas Day, I was actually still writing the script and doing the thumbnails. And then, like, I think I finished it around about July time, but then realized I couldn't use that font because it wasn't a license-free font. And in Clip Studio Pro, I love the program, but the fonts are abysmal because you cannot just go onto one page and select all the fonts and change them. You have to go into every bubble. And I was so dispirited that kind of knocked me back for a week.
Oh no.
Yeah, for sure. So then I was like, oh, book up, you got to get this done. So then I actually did it. And then there was some printing issues. It actually came out in late September.
Oh.
You know? Yeah, I know. So it's a kind of a long process, isn't it? I mean, hey, you know that as well.
Yeah, what I found is they get faster every issue. You streamline the process a bit more. It still takes me ages to get a book done, but it's getting faster and faster, you know? Sometimes I can be smashing pages out really quick. Sometimes it take me ages. So what's the time frame on Rattle and Roll number 2? When do you reckon that'll be finished? And then when do you reckon the campaign will be live?
I'm hoping for June. The good thing about, I mean, let's not say the good thing about the pandemic, but one plus about the obviously the pandemic is like a bloody awful thing, and I like have total sympathy for everyone who's been affected. And let's put it this way, everyone's been affected, right? But we got to look for those silver linings. And one good thing is that, you know, everybody has more time. So, okay, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this? Right, okay, so here we are. I just finished teaching a university course on Friday.
Oh yeah.
And so I have 2 weeks until the exams. The exams are oral exams. So what I figured is this coming Thursday, I teach for 2 hours in the morning, and then I'm free until 4 o'clock. Is it 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock on Monday afternoon. In that time, I've got approximately 100 hours. So my plan is to use as much of that 100 hours as possible, and and see if I can actually get the absolute bones of the book. The stuff distracted me there with hail spam. So yeah, my plan is for this coming weekend is like draw, and see how many of 30 pages. The first one was 24 pages. I'm looking for 36 pages for issue 2. And if I can get as much as I can physically do over the next weekend, you know, obviously I've got to eat and sleep and stuff, you know, but that's my plan. And I'm actually I'm going to be posting the heck out of that, you know, like so people can follow along with me and see where I'm at, you know, after hour 10, hour 15, etc.
That's an awesome idea. Yeah, I want to.
That's the scary stuff. That's the scary stuff. That's
scary.
That is commitment.
I always feel under pressure when I'm broadcasting what I'm drawing or whatever. But yeah, that's
yeah. Now I've said it, I can't really take it back, can
I? You said it. Now we're going to hold you to it.
What have I done? No! Yeah, so I had a word with my Derek Little Flower, and she said that you know, okay, fine, you know, and I got to say, Lily,
Hail Derek.
Lily, her name's Lily actually. Lily, you are my delicate little flower. And thank you. Thank you for your continuing support. And to you guys out there, thank you for your continuing support. And for my greatest fan, and I think he's already been mentioned today, Jacob. So thank you.
There
And
he
I'm
is.
your greatest fan too. There you go. Yeah, so
You can't pay your
Jacob,
fans, Rob.
no, what we have to do is we have to talk about John the Giraffe, Jacob. That's what we have to talk about because Jacob studied film, but he's also had the idea for a character called John the Giraffe.
Right.
And I've actually done a couple of illustrations for him. And we need once we can get something further done with Rattle and Roll, we also need to get something done with John the Giraffe. That's what we need
Ooh.
to do. There you go. How's that for pressure, Jacob?
Are those exclusive secrets? Is that the first time you revealed them?
Yeah, online for sure. No, we've spoken about it, and I hope he's not cursing me right now. But let's see. Yeah, it's an idea he's had for a children's book, and it sounds good. Yeah, I would like to see it come to fruition, with or without me. I don't mind. I'm pretty
Awesome.
sure.
John the Giraffe.
John the Giraffe.
I like it. I like it. That
All
sounds
hail
awesome.
John the Giraffe.
Perhaps a John the Giraffe Rattle and Roll crossover one day?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually thinking, like, do your characters time travel?
Yeah, I guess so.
Ah, we need to
Anything
talk.
possible.
We need to talk. A Rattle and Roll and Tailless crossover.
Ooh, that was
Ooh,
almost seductive the way you said that.
That's right.
Almost seductive the way you said that.
Ow.
Check out what Colin Mark
my little flower. Aye.
I tell you what, let me show you a little something I've got here. Bear with me.
All right. You got a bear with you?
Yeah, go get him. Hang on. So, with everyone else, we've played a little game on this channel. And by game, I'm using that term very loosely.
You mean torture, right?
Yeah.
Kyle, cool.
Right. So, got a couple of pictures here. See if we can prompt you, give us some answers to some questions, right?
Alrighty.
So, Rattle and Roll is a funny animal comic.
But it's not just a funny animal comic. Says so on the cover.
Not just a funny animal comic. Where does the inspiration to create these characters come from?
Well, that one. I mean, are we allowed to say? Do we have to say Shazam?
I mean, not specifically that funny on the cover, but your characters.
So what?
Where does the inspiration for Rattle and Roll come from?
Oh, right. Okay. Oh, I love coincidences. I not coincidences, but random stuff. Random stuff. And he calls me Steve.
Yeah,
and,
I do.
That's cool.
I shouldn't have said that. They already called.
Yeah, but it's okay because Neve said it first. Oh, Neve, Steve. I get it now.
Yeah, there we go.
So yeah, I mean it's random. It's completely random. A couple of years ago, I started creating science fiction like short stories. To like prompt me with ideas, I would just like take a word randomizer, get 12 words, and see what I can make from it. And then I did that as well for drawing practice, and that's all it was really. So I got this one group of 12 words, and among them were balloon, rat, pig, and Amazon, and I think gold was in there as well. And there we go. Let me just make sure I'm not knocking my beer over, because then everyone will call me Beatrix. Right, okay. And that's the original. That is the whoa. There we go.
Bring it out a little bit.
It's not very. Yeah, it's not very sharp, is it? I tell you what. Yeah, I can see now. My camera's not very sharp. And the thing is, we actually talked, like Lily and I talked about buying a new camera, but we can't because the shops are shut here. You know, like the electrical stores. Okay, American Tail. Somewhere out there. Sorry. Okay, and yes, that's where that came from. That it was the balloon. It was the first. That was the first sketch, just from 12 random words, and then in October, and I did a whole load of these because I kind of liked where this was going. So.
Oh, yeah.
Then I did another one, 12 random words, and came up with this one.
Let's have a look at that.
Alrighty. God, yeah.
Oh, wow. I've seen that picture on the campaign.
Yeah. I use that in one of the videos.
Yeah,
Mainly
awesome.
because issue 1 is more of an intro to RATL.
Yeah.
And we don't really cover roll much, but we're going to learn a lot more about roll in issue 2. Hopefully, because every time roll wants to talk about himself, basically, it's like he gets interrupted by RATL. So let's see how far he gets with that. Yeah. So the idea with these characters, and I'm sorry for the only way to do this better is, let's see if I can do that. Maybe it would be worth it. Let me see. So stop and start. Is that better?
Yeah, perhaps a bit better.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cooking with oil. Right. Okay. So. Oh, I'm looking at the YouTube, so it's about 50 seconds too late. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, all of these characters, these are just practice drawings, really. And I basically wanted to.
Awesome, man.
Cheers. Yeah, there's one more. Just one more. Just one more.
Yeah, go
on. Yeah, need a new camera. Need a new camera, guys. Support my campaign when it comes out, okay?
Everyone back RATL ROLL so Rob can get himself a new camera.
Absolutely. Yeah. Good. Okay, so hopefully that's
a
your
brief
question.
intermission because. Oh yeah, it certainly did. We in the chat right now. The bloody commies bringing up my bedroom life. And he retorts with, Mark, that's where the beer comes in. You know he's a furry. Let's set the record straight. I am not a furry. Taylor's is not the furry book. But to all furries out there, you're going to love it. So back the book.
Fur victory! Sorry.
And Dave cooks with gas. Thanks for sharing, Dave. Alright, let's move on from that one.
Alrighty.
Okay. Rob.
Yo.
Hollywood's called you. You've got a big name director on the other end of the phone. I don't know who it is. Your favorite director's on the other end of the phone, and he says, I want RATL ROLL in Hollywood. It's your job to come up with a cast. Who are you going to cast in the RATL ROLL movie?
Steve Buscemi.
Oh, yeah?
Steve Buscemi as RATL.
Oh,
you know the guy, right? Yeah, you know the guy, right? Yeah. For roll.
Steve Buscemi, yeah.
All right. Could now, I don't know. For roll, it's going to be tricky because roll is kind of like a little bit naive. Is a little bit. He's friendly. He's very friendly, and I'm just wondering. But of course, he's a little bit on the portly side. But
right.
You know, he's on a constant battle against that. More to come. Okay. Ooh. Yes, indeed. And well, let's see then. I don't. Roll. Who would you suggest? Any idea? I mean, John Goodman, maybe. John Goodman and Steve Buscemi.
What's his personality like? Rolls.
He's naive and he's the thing is, he's not simple, but he kind of comes across as a little bit simplistic, let's say. But he's really kind-hearted. He's really kind-hearted.
Oh God, I wouldn't know who to suggest.
I know that would be so hard for that one. That's a great question. Nice.
So I thought it was a bit of a tricky question. Who would you cast?
For the Don, that's going to be hard. I mean, you could think of John Goodman for the Don.
Yeah.
You know, although you never see his face.
Jacob
Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons. Cool.
If I was to make a Rattle and Roll movie, have you?
Yeah.
I assume have you watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Sure.
Where
now that was a real project of passion. You know that took that guy like 10 years to bring in. You know.
Oh really?
Yeah. He was working on that for years and years. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So your question.
See, if I was going to make a Rattle and Roll movie, I would film it black and white for a start.
For sure.
Like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, you'd have live action actors playing the humans.
Yeah.
And then we'd have a 2D animator draw in the Rattle and Roll, the cartoon characters into the book. Sure. I think that'd look awesome, the way they used to do it, like in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
You know what? I totally agree with you. Call me, Hollywood. I'm free on Monday.
You'll have to sell all your rights, though. That's the only problem. The big mouse is going to buy them.
The big mouse buys
run your project into the ground.
You were looking for where that was coming from, huh?
Bit of a... Right.
What's going on now?
Back to the chat.
Okay, yeah.
Where's this going now? You've done that. Dave says, I did wonder with Taylor. Did you know you can get a tail that plugs into your box?
That's why Dave's photo looks like that.
Oh God, I think they're having fun in the chat. Smash that like button harder than Steve the Furry Bear smashes Aria tonight. Thanks, Mark.
Steve the Furry Bear.
Oh God, I'm gonna get so much better. John C. Ryan. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Google. Hello, Google. John C. Riley. John C. Riley. Images.
Oh, the guy in Step Brothers and other things.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see.
Maybe.
Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell as Roll.
Will Ferrell.
Maybe.
Do you think so?
I don't know. Maybe.
Mark saying James Corden.
That's just being mean. Judith Chalmers. We said we weren't going to mention Judith Chalmers, right?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get that off screen real quick. Jimmy Carr's Rattle.
He has the eye thing, and that's the thing with Rattle. He has like the staring eyes,
Right.
But like he doesn't like Jimmy Carr doesn't have the big staring eyes, does he?
He's better than the other Jimmy.
Savile.
Yeah. Right, new picture.
Oh.
We may have touched on this a minute ago, but if you could have a team up with any other Comicscape book and crossover, whatever you want to call it, which other book would it be?
Now this is okay. This is a bit hard because let's say I've only been running with the crew here for like a couple of months.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of books I've supported so far, but I haven't read them, so I don't know the characters yet. So it's not really. I mean, we could do, for example, Rattle and Roll invading North Korea, like sliding into North Korea.
That's a
You
good
know,
one. What do you think of
that
that
is
one,
that
Mark?
is the one book I actually have received already.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Best
awesome.
North Korea. Name plug. Okay. So yeah. From any other universe. Damn. Okay, Jacob and I would both agree that it'd have to be some kind of animated Doctor Who thing.
Yeah.
Something in the Doctor Who universe. Yeah. Like Rattle and Roll against Daleks. Cool.
What was the name of Jacob's character? It was John the Giraffe, yeah?
John the Giraffe, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
there's a bit of a premise with the genetically modified animals that usually they're like originally they were, what do you call them, like lab animals that were
right.
given human human characteristics so that they could actually report, like, no, this lipstick is not good on me, that kind of stuff. And and giraffes don't really fall into that gamut, and it's like, but maybe he's like part of an exotic collection. Oh, that could be something.
Ooh.
See, the whole thing is like the genetically modified animals. This goes on like an alternative reality premise that Crick and Watson discovered DNA in the 1950s in reality. But imagine if it was discovered 100 years earlier.
Yeah.
Like scientists, the majority of scientists now have like these codes of conduct that,
Right.
you can't be like splicing human DNA with animal DNA, etc., etc. Except they do, but only to the what do you call it? So that it's only a few cells old, or they don't let it get to what do you call it, like live birth stage. But imagine that like 100 years ago, people didn't have these morals, so they'd be like CRISPRing the hell out of that stuff,
Yeah.
and that's where the whole idea comes from. This is one reason why I said, well, okay, 100 years ago, 130 years ago. So that's why it's kind of, you got these animals from the 1850s being created as lab animals, but then they kind of won their freedom. And when we think of American and British history, if there's an oppressed people that win their freedom, it's not exactly freedom. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I say. Everybody knows what I'm saying.
I think that clears up one of the questions in your trailer. What on earth is a gen?
Did I know? Okay. But still, you should buy issue 2.
Everyone, link in description. Issue 2. Let's get on it. We've got Shane saying, I like the idea of Rattle and Roll invading North Korea. Sounds like a potential conflict and fun event. I think it does. And so does Commie Mark.
Or alternatively, it could be 28 pages of Rattle and Roll in holding cells.
Yeah. Most probably.
Those guys don't screw around. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hey, I'm just gonna take this flag. Okay, let's decapitate this guy. I don't think they decapitated him, but what did they try to make a human? Yeah. Hanuman.
Awesome. I think that's also a really good idea. I wouldn't have ever thought about putting something that sci-fi orientated into a historic setting. It's good mix, interesting. I like it. I'm sure all your readers will as well.
Let's hope.
Yeah, it's awesome. A bit of a mix there.
Yeah, and one thing that some people will notice, is that I'm trying to bring in a lot of historical photos as well, like basing some of those scenery photos on historical photos, because that stuff's cool. So,
and yeah, the way it's written seems that way as well. So it is almost a retelling of history, minus the genetic
reality.
Yeah, we go slightly different route. That's cool. I like it. Awesome, man.
Cool.
Sounds wicked.
Cool.
But Let me make my suggestion for a crossover.
Whoa!
Fatal and Roll.
Who's Fatal?
You haven't seen this one?
No, is that who's that? Who's that by?
By what's his name? Clint Stoker.
Okay.
Runs a what's his YouTube channel? I watch it all the time, but I've gone blank on the name.
Let me
Chat, help me out. Sweet Cast, that's the name. He's got this book with Charlie Snowgun's Fatal. The only reason I think this will make a good team up book is because he spells fatal the way you spell raffle.
I guess the Spanish version is fatal.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I like the fact that, like, you know, Roll's there with the butterfly, and this guy's like blowing this lizard guy's head off.
Blasting aliens to death.
Hey, check it out, a butterfly!
I'd back that.
Not nice.
Okay. Fatal and Roll will come in soon. We'll have to get Clint to give us the license.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. Right. Well, we've gone to an hour, so we're gonna. That went quick. That went really quick.
Yeah,
I enjoyed today's show. One more time before. How do I get this off? All right.
That's what she said.
Bit newbie with StreamYards. Where's it gone? There we go. Remember, guys, one last time, RATL and Roll is on Indiegogo, the sign-up list anyway. You can find the link in the description. Everyone head over, sign up. You're going to be receiving that zine and poster PDF. That looks awesome. That's it, Mark. Sell it. Work it. You've got the link again in the chat. Make sure everyone goes and signs up. While you're there, everyone else, do me a favor, because the Adventures of TLS in Outer Space is on Indiegogo. Make sure you follow that link. Neve has also posted that there. Follow the link, sign up. You'll be receiving free exclusive merch by Chubb. Here's a little preview of it. You'll be receiving a folded A3 poster and trading card. It's going to look awesome. The artwork itself is awesome. Make sure you sign up. It's the only place to get that artwork. Right. So thanks for coming on the show, Rob. Any last words you want to say to the audience?
Be cool. Keep cool. And be safe. Yeah, whatever you may think, oh, this is a shamdemic. Yeah, no, don't take the risk. It's not worth it. Let's be cool and safe out there, kids.
Awesome. Right, and you heard the man. Be cool. Be safe. Everyone wave goodbye to Derek in the chat, and we'll call it a day. Thanks, my guys.